Welcome to the stage,
This is comedy. Can you feel it? We are back and better than ever. You want to talk about an adventure? I really do feel like I was given the keys to the kingdom. There's no other way to put it into words, you guys. I just got done with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, an experience that changes you. Everybody has their moment. You want to call it an epiphany, however you want to doctor it up, so that you don't have to argue with me, and we're not even 5 minutes into the pod. But I feel good. Feel good about the future. From the top of the show, I want to announce I am going to be on Dalton and Dave's pod tonight. It is from 10 p.m. to 3 in the morning. If you want to cruise by to support me, that'd be great. Pretty sure the homeboy Vandal is going to be on there. Hopefully I get to go on when he does. I just know it would be a good dynamic. You know, why mix two things together if you know it's going to be a bad idea? When you have the right concoction, it makes for an excellent display. And that dude and I have stories we could share together. Plus, he's just a good dude. That's why I wanted to hang out with him at Skankfest. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are surprised by my motivations when it comes to what did I need from that, or what was the catch for me. And I get it, because so many of you are used to that mentality where you have to get something out of it, right? You got to. But I never thought that I would even get a chance. And up until the moment that I went, I wasn't even 100% sure I was still confirmed, because people like to talk themselves out of shit all the time. You go, oh man, maybe they changed their mind, or you don't hear back from people and you're like, yeah, these are insanely busy people. They don't have time to worry about my little issues. Sometimes no news is good news. This happened to be the case where you didn't really get an insane amount of information, and then the information that you had changed on the fly. You weren't really sure. You had to be good at adapting in the moment, and if you weren't good at that, well, I'm sure you weren't having the best time. But for somebody like me who, I live and breathe comedy, this would be an insane thing to not be a part of and take at face value of, wow, I get to mingle. That's cool. Like, there were so many people there upset that they had to work or do shit, and it's like, I couldn't have been upset because I had too good of a time. You know what I mean? Like, there was no taking away from what I got to experience with people. And I was working 18-hour shifts. Everybody thinks I'm joking about that. But there's people that worked with me at the venue that can verify that. So it's not just hearsay or me chatting shit. No, in reality, I was actually there 18 hours a day, just like the majority of the crew working the event. And I'm not going to drop names. I know all of these people now, and it makes me feel good to know these people. I see some people out there casually dropping certain names. You know, they might not want to be that revealed in the public space. So I'm not going to go out here and name drop all of the people that I got to hang out with. There's a lot of stories that I want to share that are only going to be on, the membership side, because unfortunately it's not that I don't want it to be out there, but I want to see where your heart is at if you want to be a part of those cooler, more secret conversations. You can get a piece of that right here on YouTube where it's been shared, at a certain point on Spotify if I ever get to that level. Of course I will add it there, but for now it's not that I won't, it's that I can. But it's also available on the Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/thisiscomedy. And if you do that, it just makes sure that you are able to be in that little secret circle. Doesn't matter to me if you do. But there's certain shit that even in there I wouldn't necessarily give you names of people. But a lot of the event organizers, I didn't suck up to them. I just happened to create a mutual bond of friendship. They saw my work ethic, they were impressed, and they knew they could count on me for certain tasks. And I got lucky as fuck well, you know what, let's not say that, because that is ungrateful. I didn't get lucky. Everything that happened to me was probably intentional. Maybe there was something here or there that I just happened to be in the right place, right time, but I also think that these event organizers knew this, that there was a hidden hand, and they were kind of placing people where they needed to be, and I got to meet and talk to everybody that I would have wanted to meet and talk to. I had, unique moments, and it's not like I mean to brag, but I've talked about it to so many people at this point. It sounds old hat to me, but I know it's cool to talk about. I spent so much time talking to Nick Mullen on and off, but there were times that I didn't go and approach Nick Mullen. That's probably something I should share about, because, it's not fair to, go and hound these people. I was in the employee, VIP parking area, and, thank you to everybody who did actually, stay the fuck out of there and didn't go back and fuck up the event. It was cool that there was a lot of just respect from the people who were at the event. Aside from what happened at the Naked Roast when people were trying to take their phones out and do video, that was insane. But I digress. It was there was a really good, level of trust maintained for the majority of things. A couple people did run off with some posters, and I'm going to say right now, if you were some of the motherfuckers that stole the posters, fuck you, man. Fuck you. You didn't catch nobody slipping. That's fucked up that you did that you did it because you wanted to and you thought you could get away with it. Homie, just take a picture and print it at your house. Don't take the poster, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I know it's cool. Don't take the fucking poster. There were people that had already asked and offered money, and all of those are supposed to get sent to the comedian. So if you want to do the right thing, and I'm going to put this out here, maybe I'll make this as a clip, because it's not that I care if I go viral, but if you're one of the people that took the posters, you need to send it to the comedian that you stole it from. Whatever poster that you stole, you need to figure out a way to get it to their agent or their booking agency. Just figure out a way that you can return that property, because, if you don't, whatever, but, they were talking about lifetime bans for people doing that shit. So if you get found, it's that's not a good look for you. There were just certain things where people, at the last minute started doing some grimy ass shit when everybody was trying to be lax. But, anyway, back to this main story. I was out in the VIP. I saw Nick Mullen walk back there. he was alone, and he probably wanted to be alone. He didn't want to be up in the VIP room mingling. He was probably just trying to do his own fucking thing. And I'm just back there in my car, right? I had a rental, and I got to do transport for the venue. I had transported a couple of comedians. I did share those stories on the Patreons. There was a lot that I did. I got to have so much fun. Shout out to Scott Thompson and Brad Williams. Thank you for riffing with me for like 20 minutes each on the drives. That was sick. But yeah, like who in the fuck would I be to go walk up to Mullen and think he wants me to have a conversation with him when he had actually been insanely generous with his time. I didn't bother him Thursday night after the Joy Theater. I was like, I'm just gonna let him do his thing because I didn't see him. And I saw Ian, but again, like I talked about this a little bit. I saw Ian; he was really cool. But I didn't want to go like chase down Mullen or anything. I just wanted to kind of chill at the venue. I had to do transport back to the main spot at Mardi Gras World after, and I was just grateful that I was even able to park my car down there. Parking is insane down in New Orleans, and that was because of Lewis. Lewis let me park my shit down there. That was one of the gods coming down and lending a hand. That shit was surreal to me because I couldn't even believe it was happening in real time. I was just like, oh, okay. Because I didn't ask him. Somebody asked for me. And the next thing I know, they're like, yeah, so Lewis said you're good. So just swing her around, and I'm going to wait right here for you and just park her in. And as soon as Parks is like, and you're down to do transport after, right? And I was like, fuck yeah, I am. And, a little fist bump, and I got back in there running security and shit for the venue and having a good time. And that's where I met Blaze and Quay. I was hanging out with them on the 3rd floor. You guys should really check out their radio show. They do upload each show they do like in a podcast form, which is cool. It's sad that we call everything podcast now, that we water them down to that. It's so much more complex than that, but you can listen to what they do. I think it's called I Woke Up For This. But I was hanging out with them. I met a lot of good people that night. Great show. And on Friday, I just wanted to keep working hard. I'd worked 18 hours that day, and I told one of the big event organizers, like, yeah, man, I'm just happy. He's like, what do you mean you've... And I'm like, well, yeah, that's what you guys do. So, I mean, I'm no better than that. And I'm having fun. Like, I've been doing everything I want. And he's like, well... because you told me that now your new job is to go here and have fun. I was like, and he was like, no. I said, all right. I didn't argue with him. He's one of the big bosses. Like, I didn't want to argue. So I went to the main ballroom and I kind of talked to one of the other dudes. He's like, yeah, you're good. Chill down here. And like was kind of holding court with a lot of people. I talked about those stories, but Mullen happened to be there and spoke with me long form, and I don't want anything from these guys. They're just people, and I know they're famous, and I don't mean that like they're just people, but that moment meant more to me, that I finally got to, like, in an organic way. I didn't chase him down. He just happened to be there. He was about to go up, and he killed, and he talked to me. And after that, talked to me a couple more times in the night. I talked about that young kid who wanted to meet Mullen, and I told him to do exactly what I did if you wanted to kind of have a moment like that with him. There was a lot of shit that I wanted to try and do and have fun with, you know. Shout out to Sam Talent. I just teased him on X because he posted about his book is $11 right now. And I'm like, I pirated it like a true fan. Like, I had a blast with him at Skankfest. He was perfect. There's no other way to put it. Like, it was an unbelievable experience. Not at all a douchebag. But Lund was something special as well, and it felt good to tell them both, like, yeah, you two together, it's the secret sauce. Shit, I'd love to riff with all three of those guys. I was talking to Becker and didn't even realize it was him. I felt so stupid. When I did, I was like, no way. And I've talked about how I was backstage for Chubby. Like, it was so cool. Butterly retweeted me. And since I've come back, I've had a lot of good momentum too. Because again, I don't want to just rehash everything I've rehashed. You don't want to just keep farming shit. But it's fair to say that it was a special moment to me, and shit, even you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I had a really good Saturday night too. If anybody has video, I've told you of like the singer taking my hat and wearing it and me fucking headbanging. I really want to see that. I saw some good video, but like I didn't get to see that. But I met some good people. There was a guy who I wanted to have come on the podcast today. I don't think he was available for it, which is okay. And if I get a hold of him, I'll probably just do a bonus episode or something. We'll figure it out. You know, I already released quite a bit of bonus content for Skankfest, so I don't want to just keep dumping over there, because it's not about gatekeeping my shit, but I think I've mentioned it enough times. Like, if I don't create value over there, what's the point of you guys even checking it out? And, you know, everybody was asking me if I'm a comedian, and I told everybody, no, I'm like a humorist, and I even despise that word, because it's like such a fake, weird thing, but, you know, like, I'm a comedian's comedian is a better way to put it. I like making the guys in the circle laugh, but I am probably the guy upstage bombing and saying the craziest shit that I want to say, while, you know, all the comedians are howling in laughter because nobody else fucking gets it. You know, I'm just saying jokes that are for a handful of people, because that's what's funny to me. Like, when I make those guys laugh, I feel fulfilled, you know, making a room full, I don't want to even just say normies or whatever, that's not what it is, but like, if I just make somebody laugh, it's like, okay, but when I make somebody who it's their job to make people laugh, when I make them laugh, that shit, I feel like I did very good, you know, I made Mullen laugh a little bit, I made Talent laugh, that was cool to me, man. You never know, you know, and so, like, you can kind of tell when people do a forced or fake laugh, but people don't have to do that at that level as well. I don't know, like, they don't have to be polite to them in the comedy world, because I don't know, maybe I'm alone when I say this, but I feel like there's an impoliteness in that sort of dishonesty where if that shit isn't funny, they'll probably call you on it and say some goofy ass shit. I didn't like roast him, but I just kind of, I told Sam that he looked like fucking De Niro in Casino with those like the glasses he had on. They were like these dual, you know, the kind of the shades where like he had the flaps where one of them goes up, and he just kind of like started laughing at me and fucking slammed him down. it was too good. Like, it was good. And I kept having all those moments constantly all over the place because I chose to work those 18-hour shifts with the crew. I wasn't just working like I saw dudes who would work a couple hours and then boogie out. And I was like, damn, these guys could have been riding with me. I'm telling you, they were short-staffed and they needed help. They were glad that I stepped up to the plate because they didn't have anybody to do that shit. They really didn't. And next year, who knows what's going to happen. I'm definitely going to push for Vandal to get his own booth. I hope a lot of you do. He was a blast to hang with. Shane was a blast to hang with. There's a guy named Bob. He was cool. I'm fucking up a lot of names though. But at the end of the day, like, Well, no, because I fucked with Kyle and Lucas too. There were guys there that were just too busy busting their ass. They didn't really worry about the drama. But yeah, I was just kind of everywhere doing what I could. You'd be surprised how de-escalating it is when you see a couple people with the staff shirt on, opposed to just one dude. So my presence was appreciated. That, you know, even when it would get cold, like, they were pretty cool to me. I don't know how to tell you this, but, you know, they weren't really letting a lot of people roll around the event if they didn't have their staff shirt, you know, like, prominently displayed or whatever. But they were pretty cool with me, like, rolling around the event when it got cold, putting on my jacket and just keeping the shirt on underneath with the badge and knowing I was still running shit. And even on the last day, they were, like, I was able to just not even have to worry about the event shirt. I had one of the main guys be like, don't even worry about it, dude. You're good. So I just kept crushing it. Everybody treated me good. Again, flight back was good. Shout out to the 3 people that noticed me. That was cool to get recognized. And then coming back, this motion I've had with, you know, different groups of people, I appreciate these follows because I'm not expecting any of it. I'm just kind of a normal guy. I like to have regular conversations. Everybody's got a pass or whatever, right? But, you know, the worst you can say about me is that I've played video games. You know? I think we're all kind of guilty of that. Playing some fucking video games and letting it take your time away from you. Like, it's fun to play a game once in a while, but I think everybody would rather be doing shit like Skankfest. If you had a choice of playing a fucking video game or getting out there and being a part of something like that, we all know what you would choose. Nobody would really want to stay at home and fuck around. That's how I felt. That's why I didn't want to take the shirt off or not work the event. Because I felt like they needed me, man. And that's what it meant to be there. I didn't go there to fuck around. You know, I got to explore New Orleans a little bit, and that is on the members episodes, I promise you. I definitely talked about my time. But the point wasn't to not be where I was supposed to. I needed to be everywhere at that venue and help everybody. I still feel really good about making sure ADA people got to go up to the second floor on Sunday. If you felt like you had a special experience on Sunday, just know, and I'm not just saying anybody in general, but if you were disabled, if you felt like you had an extra special experience on Sunday, a lot of you told me personally, and in a lot of different ways, especially the gentleman who was in the wheelchair, he was wheelchair bound, older gentleman, bald head, really cool guy. Thank you for your kind words that you said to me, because I won't repeat everything you said here, but I just want to, cause, you know, I like to protect people's identity. There's no reason to just, completely go down that path, but, man, you really made me feel like I was doing right by you. That you had just noticed how I was with everybody, the whole venue, and yeah, I tried to do the best I could, because if I was in that position, that's what I would want. And we were already told by the higher ups, you're supposed to get a VIP plus treatment. You know, we have a VIP level, and then there's one step above. And you were just supposed to essentially go wherever you felt like it, because you're no harm. I don't even mean that in a disrespectful way, but we know that you don't have bad intentions. You're not there to cause trouble. You're one of the people that, despite what you got going on, you're there to have a great time. So thanks for being willing to be a part of that. Like, I know they were happy to host anybody in that situation. You were able to go backstage, you were able to go up, like, front stage, and it was me, personally, that I talked with one of the main organizers about opening up that second floor so you could just kind of get away from all the hubbub and have your own little private entrance and exit way. No drama. And I hope that did feel special for all you folks, because that was my intention. You know, I never try to take over and be the head honcho, but I can't help when I have ideas and I want to make stuff special and I see what we could do, and you just ask questions, and I got a lot of yeses here. A lot of my ideas were welcomed, and people were like, holy shit, you did something really good here, or oh wow, you saved us a lot of time. And that's all I wanted to do. You're trying to do the best that you can to make people happy. And I felt like that goal was achieved. So if you had a good time and you remembered me helping out, thank you for all the compliments you either said to me or said to people that, like, the right people that heard it. Because I mean it. I got some really good feedback from my higher ups that made me feel welcome and appreciated, even during the tough times when, like, you know, sometimes you're busting your ass so hard you can't be upset if somebody doesn't happen to notice it and then they're like, let's fucking go, we gotta get shit done. Because it's like, yeah, we do gotta get shit done, and it's not always directed at you, and somebody just has to make a fucking statement. And if something isn't clicking right, then you gotta move on. That's all you gotta do. You have to understand your contribution, and you just let that shit go. And if you approach people and you're able to move past it, then that's all that really matters. Because you see where a person's heart or intent is then, and you're like, okay, there was no personal grudge. On a certain level, they don't really give a fuck. They could give a fuck at a certain point, but just know that, like, there wasn't something deep enough where, like, that holds you up or is going to be a restraint. There's levels to this shit. Some people, you know, when they're so dedicated to something, they have their own mindset. It takes a couple years for you to matter to them. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't think that I'm supposed to be recognized or important to anybody at this venue. But I do think that I got recognized by certain people, and there was a level of importance that was put upon me to kind of test, well, what can we use this guy for next year? And I'd never, you know, want to, again, try to self-advocate, but I basically got told I am good for next year. So I'm happy that I'll be able to see you guys when it does start to get a little more confirmed and everything. We all remember how it went this last year, and I'm just super excited. You know, I'll work my ass off like I did last time. If it ends up being New Orleans again, at least we know the plan this time, and we'll be able to make it even better. I mean it. We'll be able to make this shit so much better for people. Don't even sweat it. It'll be much more coordinated. Just think about the way that the city is now. You know, it's not terrible. It's actually a pretty cool place to be. The only thing I'm bummed out about is that I didn't get to eat at more places. That's probably the one thing that's kind of eaten away at me, right? Because of course, I would love to have just chowed down. But the one place that I did go to, Mother's, they were good. I had a very basic bitch breakfast, but they didn't have the gumbo ready. It said rich crab stock. I was excited. They said, nope, not till 11 a.m. I'm like, what? Come on, man. He checked and they weren't fucking ready. I know people had stories of seeing fucking comedians in the city at places they went to eat, Right on. That's dope. I did see Lewis before the whole venue started. I remember seeing him down in the French Quarter. And now we just got to figure out if anything is going to happen or what's next. It's cool to have some motion. But again, I like to approach things with an open mind, a hint of caution, a little bit of skepticism. It's not like I'm doing a podcast with Nick Fuentes or anything. But I just don't want no beef with nobody. The one thing I'm getting sick of, look, is the Jeff Dye shit, like, is that sad, or do you have an opinion on it? I mean, okay, sure. But who fucking cares, man? And I'm not defending Jeff Dye. I'm not an apologist. Please don't get me wrong. But who the fuck cares? In reality, what you're doing is, counterproductive. If you're talking about it as a joke, it's just this big joke, this big meme, and Kim doesn't get it, and blah, blah, blah. Great. Because the machine's working properly. The negative hype is making Jeff blow up. So if the goal is to blow Jeff up with this controversy and secretly people like him, well, that's great. But if there's anybody in there who's kind of like, no, we need to take Jeff Dye down, he's a grifter, he's a piece of shit, I don't think starting a Kickstarter and saying, hey, give me money, is the worst thing in the world. Because lots of people do it when they have money and nobody gives them flack for it. You don't have to be upset at the attempt. That's more my point. That's kind of what Patrice O'Neal fought for, right? Like, the attempt is valid. You're not supposed to be mad at the attempt. Now, was it a bad attempt from him? That's up to you to decide. I have no stake in that because I don't think it's important enough to go that far. You know what I mean? It's not significant. But all I see last week, Jeff Dye. Who gives a fuck? Jeff Dye don't care. There's got to be more important shit that you can talk about in comedy. I mean, that Theo Von video that Too Lazy just did is better territory. That he's breaking away from Rogan. Rogan's not his buddy anymore. He went on there thinking they were going to talk about all these conspiracies and how Israel owns everything. And Rogan was just like, well, hey, hang on, man. Because, hey, buddy, you're saying things that... And then bringing up Theo's mental health. And you're like, oh, shit, Joe is compromised. Like, oh, no, little bud. What's happened? You could just see the fucking color drain from Theo, too. He keeps looking down. He's like, oh, yeah, I could be wrong. And Rogan trying to reel him in. No, man, it just, well, what is it, Joe? Is Theo going off the deep end and that's why you bring up his mental health? Or is he right to have some of these thoughts when the dots do in fact connect? Does it make you disingenuous now? Somebody did bring up, the Hello Freak Bitches days of Rogan. How long has this man been comp road? Has he just been deep state? You gotta think back to Fear Factor. It's all just psyops, man, to make you eat the bugs. He's the one that normalized that shit, remember? Win a bunch of money if you eat these fucking bugs. Eat more bugs than the other person. What the fuck? And he said, yeah, I'll do that. That's the problem with us as a people. We actually don't have a limit. Not really. If it'll give us a consequence, we do. But a situation like that, where behind closed doors you're protected and an executive says, we'll give you $1 million a year to make people eat bugs in a competition. I know a lot of people that would say yes in a heartbeat, not caring that they are participating in the lowering of the human standard. Wouldn't a rational person talk about better ways to have a competition between people? But I just guess that's a foreign concept all of a sudden. You'll have to forgive me a little bit. I left New Orleans, but New Orleans did not leave me. There was some kind of sick going around the last day. And when you were working as many hours as I was, yeah, it's going to catch up with you. So unfortunately, I kind of had to tough it out. Don't worry. Today it's a lot better. It was not looking good the other day. I'm thinking I'm on the other side of this thing now. It's just a lot of congestion. Nothing in the lungs, luckily. That had me worried. But no, nothing in the lungs. So we're good. It is what it is. That's the price you gotta pay sometimes. And it was a lot to put together last second. My flight was not that much. I paid $130 something or $140 something for my flight. Round trip. $250 for the rental for the whole time. And a brand new 2025, like I told you. That thing was fucking awesome. Shout out to Hertz, man. They're definitely the place you want to go if you're looking for, a good ride. Just be careful if you use the return park. Their garage is like an intermediate plus level drive. I feel terrified for their employees that they have to go that high up because the turns are so sharp. It feels like you could easily fuck the car up. But luckily I was able to get it back up there, park it safely. They gave me a really good car. The woman that I worked with, she hooked me the fuck up. She did. I do not, I don't know how to tell you this. If some of y'all feel like the hype died down once you left, I haven't. I don't know, now it kind of feels like you're just riding the wave now. And when the wave picks back up, you're a part of it. That's what's happening tonight, you know? I get to kind of relive the Skankfest moments. And that'll be fun. I'm not sure how long they'll have me on there for. But I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to that shit. A lot of people did talk about having me come on to do things, and it looks like that is coming true. Appreciate so many of you keeping it real with a motherfucker. Comedy is a very inviting space. You know, the wrong people, they get ostracized. They don't really get a chance. But real recognizes, and it doesn't necessarily matter where you are for that rule to apply. Because I've had success in so many different areas. Now I just want to be involved in comedy, not as a grifter, not as an autograph collector. If I ever have a picture taken with somebody, that's how it'll go down. It'll be taken with somebody. I won't be taking it. Somebody will be like, hey, do you want to get in this picture with me? And I'll be like, hey, sure, why not? And then a picture of us will exist. And that would be cool. But I'm never going to say, hey, let's get that pic right quick. No, I want to do more stuff like backstage at Chubby, backstage at Skankfest, just backstage. Backstage, getting to have like the cool backstage conversations that the other people who paid don't get to have. That's got to be the coolest moment in my life, was being in that circle with Hinchcliffe, Voss, and Redband. I'm just gonna be honest. That was a cool moment. And I talked to Voss a couple of times. That's also on the Patreon. A lot of the cooler stuff from Skankfest is in the Skankfest Chronicles episodes. This is like the promised recap episode that I was gonna do. But if you want the real stories, you just gotta give it a chance. I thought about making them one in the dollar tier, or maybe I've been trying to mess with the $2 tier, right? Where you get 2 episodes a month. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Right now, both of those episodes are behind the $5 level. A couple of you got to listen to it early, if you actually checked it out. It was supposed to be only for members, but that's the funny thing about YouTube. Sometimes when you're publishing a certain way, it decides to fuck up, and you gotta do what you gotta do. So, luckily I was able to fix it, and now both of those are properly paywalled, instead of people being able to listen to the goodies without actually paying for them. I'm in a good mood, if you guys can't tell. Things are just finally settling in. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Christmas is coming. I'm looking forward to things for a change, and I think 2026 might finally be a year to be proud of. We're all getting older. We all get scared of time passing by and the shit that changes. I feel okay though. This changed my life. I sound like a sap right now, but thank you so much, Lewis. And I won't say the other to organizers, but to those women, just thank you for what you did allow me to do. And I felt very taken under the wing of people, and it was truly an honor to be a part of something like that. And I can't wait to work even harder for everybody next year. I want to find ways to enhance the value of the venue. I do, to like kind of harp on this again, I really do think Vandal would be a good contribution to that. You know, I think if we figured out some kind of like exclusive Skankfest thing, it'd be cool. I kind of realized I could have just done my podcast there. There were spots to set up, especially when people cut out. I could have set up and been like, this is comedy. People could have walked up and just been like, what the fuck is this? Be like, yeah, it's a stupid little podcast. You want to riff for 5 minutes? Like, there were spots available. It would have been cool. I might do something like that next year. I'm going to try and organize some talent together, find some hitters, make a team. It would be really cool. And I'm already on the path. So, yeah. I appreciate everybody who keeps checking in with me. Sorry I've been so stingy. But you know what? It's not me being stingy. It's you motherfuckers. It's $1. It's $1 to support what I do. It's in my YouTube profile. What do you piss $1 away on every day that you can't just throw me a month? $1 a month. Give it a chance. I'll make a deal. If I get at least 10 YouTube members or Patreon members combined before the end of November, I'll set a realistic goal. I'm sure doesn't matter to me if it gets hit. I'm just going to do something stupid. If I get that number, I will make, and again, this is on the I'll make both of those Skankfest episodes available to the $1 membership tier. So again, $1, and instead of having to pay $5 to get access, you're only paying $1. That's 80% off. It doesn't get much better. But like I said, I gotta see it. I gotta see 10 people willing to spend $1 each. And I will make that available to all 10 of you, so you will get exclusive stories. Because even when I go on live tonight, I'm not really gonna give it all away. You can't do that. There's some stuff you gotta hold back on, and I'm not gonna play it too cool. I'm gonna be very genuine with these folks. It's just, you can't give it all away. You gotta hold a little back. But I would love to just have the content available, because certain stuff, again, I can't tell you. I even said this on the premium episodes, but my conversation with Brad Williams when I took him back to the hotel, I can't talk to you guys about that conversation. That was between him and I. I respect the intent and the privacy of it. There's an integrity I need to maintain when it comes to certain shit if I ever want to be allowed to get more than that in the future. Because I definitely got to do some shit as a first-time goer that I don't think many did. You know, most people were just left to very simple tasks like, hey, go over here, or hey, do this. But I got to drive comedians home. I I spoke to certain people. I let Matan know where he needed to go to really have the best time at the venue as soon as nobody else recognized him but me. I knew exactly who the fuck he was as soon as he got there. It was just, like I'm rambling at this point, but I got to do some very special shit, and it's not lost on me what I was allowed to do. And hopefully I did the right thing so that next time I'm able to do it again. There were also some lessons I learned. That's the only way I'm going to put it. And it's like I've been already kind of guarding myself, and you learn ways to protect yourself. You know how to test things to make sure that you're going to be safe. But wow, sometimes you just try to even be nice, and you never know how shit's going to play out. So you kind of got to just chill and not deal with the bullshit. You really do. Like, yeah, you can have somebody showing you pictures, and that's all I'll say. Just being like, thanks for showing me. You know what I mean? Just fucking interesting things happen down in Louisiana. The stories you hear are definitely true. Motherfuckers were getting robbed down there. I tried to get, like, I didn't try, but, like, people tried to sneak me away into certain scenarios where I knew better. I knew not to go off venue with anybody or let anybody get into my ear. There were people asking me for drugs. I'm not doing that. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why you think in my staff shirt I'm going to help you find drugs. Even if I'm not in it, like, I don't do a lot of that shit. So I'm not into that. You know? I respect when people want to do their own thing. I've said that a lot of times before. But you'll never catch me really doing anything too crazy. The most I've done is smoke weed, and I had my medical card when I was down there. So, yeah, I was a medical patient, and if I had cannabis, guess what? I'm good, because I like to do things legal. I don't like to fuck with the venue or cause any trouble. Like, you don't want to cause any trouble. You just want to be respectful. You want to have a good time. You don't want to make anybody upset. You just want to make people happy. That's the goal. It should be the goal for anybody. Why else are you there? That's why I was there. Make sure people have a good time. Don't fuck with anybody's peace. Now it is about that time. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. If you like this episode, make sure you give it a blah, 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 a like and a share and whatnot. I will be sure to check in with all of you motherfuckers next week, hopefully. And again, do not forget to check me out tonight on Dalton and Dave's stream, okay? Bye!